In this video, we answer 4 important questions. 1. How much is land in Accra and in Ghana generally, and what determines the price of land? 2. What are the assumptions that you need to make before you can build a house on a budget? 3. Where should you buy your land and what factors should you consider? And 4. Should you even buy land and build, or just buy a house if you can afford it? We're going to answer all these questions and more coming up next. In Ghana, price control is practically or literally non-existent. Today, anybody can just wake up and say he has a parcel of land, it's $500,000. But what I've seen is that for lands closer to the airport, the prices are higher than when you move further from the airport. And I think that has come up because usually when the people from the diaspora come to Ghana or Africa, they want to live closer to the airport so that if there's any issue, they can quickly evacuate and leave. These places have become the prime lands and very expensive. Places like Airport, Cantonment, Labone, Labadi, Chiado, those areas are pretty close to the airport, East Legon. Today, land in those areas are in the millions of dollars, minimum. The minimum you get is like $1 million for land in those areas. This is Ghana. This is not United States of America or United Kingdom. The roads, the hospitals, etc. are not top shape, right? They are not in good form, but that's the price. And then once you begin to move further away from the airport, then the prices of land begin to also reduce. So then if, let's say, 3 kilometers to the airport is selling for $1 million, that's the areas I've given you. When you move to about 10 kilometers from the airport, you are moving towards, let's say, Achimota, you are moving towards La Paz, you are moving towards Teshi, and those areas, Medina, Adenta, there people are selling lands for like 400,000, 500,000 Ghana cedis. Some are also selling it in dollars, $200,000, etc. Usually when I'm driving and I see land for sale and things, I just call to get an idea of how much lands in the areas are going for. If any meets my budget, at least I can purchase it. You would want to move further, which a lot of the residents will be able to afford because most of the places closer to the airports are not occupied by locals. They are occupied by foreigners, to be honest, because they have the money to be able to pay that amount. Even if they are not buying the land, the rent close to the airport is pretty expensive as well. You'd want to move further to Dome, Kwabenya, Insawam, Amasaman, Pokwase, etc. At this point, you are like 16 kilometers, 17 kilometers from the airport. And recently, I saw land at Kwabenya. It was pretty far away. That's like 17, 18 kilometers. And it was being sold for 400,000 Ghana cedis. That is almost $40,000. Then you're also moving to places like East Legon Hills, those Santor areas. Right? They are pretty far. You hear it as East Legon Hills, but it's pretty far. It's also like 17, 18 kilometers. And people are selling lands for $20,000. Then you are moving to Pokwase, Amasaman. Those places you can get like 100,000, 120,000, 150,000, etc. These are cities. So that's like $10,000, $15,000, etc. Then when you move further, like 23 kilometers away, 30 kilometers, and you start getting 15,000, 20,000 Ghana cedis lands, which is like $1,200 to $2,000. Most people like Kaswa, after Kaswa, Bodria say like those areas, you can get 30,000 cedis, 40,000 cedis. So that's like $3,000 to $4,000. But then again, you need to consider the transportation costs if you are moving to work, if you are working within the central business district areas. We made certain assumptions. The assumption was that you already have land. If you're going to worry about land, where you get the land is going to determine the total cost. So we are not looking at the land, but we are assuming you already have land. Either you got it as like a property that you inherited, or you purchased it some time ago when it was cheaper, or you've moved further away and you've purchased the land. So that's the basic assumption, that you've purchased land. And for me, I want everybody to be able to build, because building shouldn't be something that is left for just the affluent in society. Everybody should be able to build. Now, when it comes to building, it depends on the nature of the house you are building, like the design. Obviously, if you're on a low budget, you're not going to build like a glass house with stones and LED lights and automated stuff. You're going to build a pretty basic house to help you avoid rent with a budget of like 2,000 to 5,000 cedis, which is what the average Ghanaian first degree worker earns. I think you can build, but it's going to take you a period of time. If you can commit, let's say 2,000 to 5,000 CDs every month on your building project, then essentially you are going to need between 5 years to 10 years to build on a half plot of land, like a minimum 2 or 3 bedroom house. How we break that down is, so we look at the total square area of the land, half plot. So let's say 40 by 50, that's a 2,000 square area. And then you are going to multiply that by, let's say, $30 per square area, because your house is not going to be any huge thing. That's $60,000. That's 60,000 if you are now breaking it down into your monthly contribution, which is, let's say, $5,000, which we can put as, let's say, $500. Then to get the 60,000 in a year, you are going to do 500 times 12 is 6,000. So 10 years. That's what I'm saying. On a half plot of land, it's going to cost you around that amount to build a 3-bedroom house and roof it, finish it with the lights, the tiles, and all that. Yeah. I know people who live abroad usually are concerned about like space, the total size of the rooms, because where you live, usually the rooms are pretty cramped because you can't afford very big mansions. So when they want to come to Ghana, they want to build things that are very spacious. Somebody like that would want to build, because most of the real estate companies, the value that they give you for your money are pretty small rooms, and you can do better with your own money. But then somebody also wants peace of mind. You don't want to start and have issues with land guards. You don't want to go to lands commission. You don't want to be fighting with the inflation rates of cement and the building materials that you use and all that. That person wants to skip all that headache. That person doesn't want to go to the municipal assembly and go and do permits and all that. It depends on the kind of person that you are. For me, I like peace of mind. I've told you, I decided to put a court case on hold just to ensure that I have a house I can move in before I go and pursue any litigation. If you're like me, you'd probably want to buy and skip all the hassle, because building in Ghana is not easy. And let's be clear, it's not easy. Even if you have money, you can still get to a place where you are going to get stuck, because the prices of cement from last year, we started at around 42 cedis. Today, it's about 98 Ghana cedis. There's the tendency that you may have planned your budget for the house at $60,000 last year, but this year it's sitting at about $120,000. Your salary will probably not have increased that much, etc. If you are in the diaspora and you have a lot of money to spare, you don't want to have to worry about, starting from scratch and all the things I mentioned. Just buy. But then the reason why some people also don't want to buy is they can't tell the quality of the materials that were used for the build. These people kind of have like trust issues. If you are somebody who likes to do things by yourself, wants big rooms, then build. If you're somebody who doesn't like stress, you just want a finished product and you move in with your family, then buy. For a 4-bedroom house, we interviewed some real estate agents who have properties for sale. At Pokwase, you could get like a 3-bedroom house for about $57,000. And the size of the rooms are not very big. If you want a 4-bedroom house, we interviewed somebody who sells a house at Kwabena, and it was $175,000. Again, it depends on the finishing, the kind of materials they use, what value they are giving you. The $175,000 was in a gated community. There's security, there's water, and all that, right? Then again, we went to a place at East Legon Hills where they were also selling 4-bedroom houses for $110,000 at the start of the year. Now they are selling it at $180,000 because that's how terrible inflation in Ghana can be. And the 3-bedroom house for that same area was going for about $70,000. Currently, it's sitting at about $120,000. And then the 2-bedroom was selling for $45,000. Currently, it's sitting at about $70,000. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And then click on this video where we interviewed Kofi Anku, who builds the Pokwase Heights estate. And over there, he shares with us the lessons he's learned, how he was able to build and make it so affordable, and how you can also acquire one of the properties at Pokwase Heights. I'll see you on this video over here. Thanks, Wibre.